you to step up, you step up. So here I am today, and si se puede, lo vamos a lograr. And so I come from a neighborhood, Pleasant Grove. I say I was born there. I was literally born there on Elam Road. And I live 0.5 miles away from where I was born. I've been to all the neighborhood schools, as you have read in my bio. I went to Spruce High School during a time that it needed rebuilding. And the school was on the verge of closing. And then I stepped foot in the fall to a top 20 university, the University of Notre Dame. And so when I was there, I realized how much I was lacking as a student. That I didn't have a mentor, that I only went to Notre Dame because I saw a movie, Rudy. And I thought, that's where I'm going to go. As a Catholic, I saw it and I said, that's where somewhere I could go and it's a real school. And it's unfortunate that a top student would decide their future based on that. I got really lucky, obviously, but it's not what our students deserve. And so fast forward, years and years have gone by. I've stuck around the community, have done a lot of community work, and ultimately our schools remain the same. DISD has made great strides. There's an increase in enrollment, which is troubling at this point due to vouchers that are coming into play. Teacher retention is up. There are a lot of exciting things happening in District 4, but it's not enough because we need to make this a priority, and there's a sense of urgency that needs to occur. And I tell you why, because 40% of our F-rated schools in DISD are sitting in my neighborhood. And so that to me is not acceptable. And so that's why I decided to run for this position. I think that there are some key factors that we can work on. For example, our kids need to be in pre-K 3, need to be in pre-K 4. This also increases the budget for our schools. We need to focus on absenteeism. Our kids in District 4, which is not just Pleasant Grove, it's Sigleville and Box Springs as well, are not going to school, and we know that there are reasons why. They're currently the situation. Our schools are 80% Latino or more. People are afraid. We've seen an increase in school violence and gun violence, especially within our youth. And we know that people are now afraid of ICE. And so kids aren't going to school, so we're not even getting the basic allotment. And then of course we need to engage parents. You might have read in my bio, I started a nonprofit called Community Does It. And I thought that's going to be the one big thing I do in my life, even though I'm, in 30s. And it really isn't, because I started to outgrow the space, and I've been going to all of these DISD schools, and they've been demanding programming for themselves, for the kids. And one nonprofit is simply not enough. Community Does It was the first mental health clinic in the neighborhood, and I've been honored to sit on that board and be a co-founder. And ultimately, it's just not enough. And so when I looked at that, I said, this race symbolizes that a student growing up in this neighborhood can be a decision maker. And that's what we need. And so that's why I'm running for DISD. You can read more about me. I filed on the last day for many reasons, but my website is up. I'm getting everything going, including block walking. I've been a precinct chair now for several years, so I walk my precinct many times to talk to the neighbors about their concerns, and schools being one of them. And so I'm definitely gonna hit the pavement. I have several engagements today, so I don't have a lot of time, but if anyone has any questions or wants to know more about me, please feel free to ask.
Okay, LULAC, big round of applause. Any questions for Ms. Prisma? Prisma, what's your campaign website? Where can we volunteer? How can we do that? Where can we send money? And more importantly, how can we get those yard signs and everything that goes into a campaign?
Yes, of course this is going to be a high-touch campaign. We know that in a neighborhood where we had an election that was split by 30 votes in this last DISD race, that I need to be talking to the people that are voting. And so that's definitely there. The website, prismagarcia.com. It's my name, so it's easy to remember. Also, I'm there on every social media platform. You can find me on my personal pages. I just started my campaign pages, so they're not as exciting right now, but they will be up and running this weekend. And of course, I will be sending you the link.
Definitely.
Dr. Garcia.
Well, I wanted to send it to all of
Yes,
them.
I'll send it to everyone.
So, I mean, how can they sign up for your campaign? If they have family in Pleasant Grove, how can you contact them?
Yes, so prismagarcia.com, there'll be a form there. You can get involved, or you can send me a direct message, and I will respond. I see you have questions, so I want to address that.
Are there any connections with you and Todd Williams or Commit?
So, I'm a fundraiser by nature, so I can tell you that there will be, I'm not being pushed to do this by any of those individuals. Some funding, they do run a PAC, and I am in conversations with that PAC, and so I want to mention that to be fully transparent. But I personally am not a leader that can be manipulated, so if that's a particular concern, I definitely think that there is truth to data. There's truth to data, but it doesn't tell us the whole story. And I'm a kid who grew up in those schools where you were getting packed down like you were going to the penitentiary. I mean, that was before there was even the concerns of gun violence and all of that. So I will not be manipulated, because I know that's been a big conversation in Dallas ISD elections. I ultimately care about the kids in my neighborhood, and I have shown it through years and years and years of work.
Anyone else?
Hi. What do you think about President Donald Trump is going to make the English language as an official? Is going to affect the school districts all around the states?
Yes, I think that with the changes federally, there's definitely concern for English language, especially with translations being needed at the local level. I think that's something that these positions really influence in terms of how, if it's not going to be funded by the district, how can we partner and collaborate with other groups that are going to do it, because the need for Spanish is not going to go away, and we are going to be inclusive to all of our constituents, and those are our families. I know that with my parents being Mexican, they want to read Spanish, and so I will fight to make sure that that continues.
Excellent question, Ms. Patti.
Ms. Garcia, thank you very much for being here. Thanks a lot for running too. You know, there's a case called the Plyler case that we have an interest in. The Plyler case basically found, or the Supreme Court decided, that every child in the country, regardless of whether their parents were documented or not, had a right to a free public education. And I think that this administration, with all the things that they're doing, perhaps are going to challenge it again and try to reverse that decision that was made that one time that protects the children here. Because the Constitution says every person in the country, doesn't say every citizen in the country. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I definitely think that we have to be on the side that promotes education for all, regardless of what others are thinking, that they can reverse these things. We've seen it done. And so I know that we have to prepare to assume that it could get reversed, that they could come for that. Of course, we want to protect the privacy of our students and be sure that they are safe at schools and are there for learning. I think that it's we're in a troubling state where all of these politics are pushing and influencing what our kids are experiencing and the psychological safety. But I think it becomes something where we have to unite at every level and push back on that. Because every student, every child deserves an education, regardless of where they were born and regardless of where they are today.
On another point, I want to bring to your attention that LULAC was involved when the president signed an executive order to do away with birthright of anybody who was born in our country, to not have the same legal standing as anybody else. We were one of the first ones, along with ACLU, to go to federal court, and we're waiting to go to federal court. There's about 74 lawsuits against the executive orders of this president. Are you familiar with that?
I have been. I know that based on this stance, if you were born in the United States and your parents weren't legal at the time, they could say, hey, Prisma, you're not a citizen anymore because, you know, you missed it by a year or something. And so I think that's something that I am familiar with. I plan to become more well-versed, and I'm definitely a person that may not have all the answers, but I'm willing to work with those that do. And so collaboration, I think, is key in that instance.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Garcia,
Yes.
as an advocate for LULAC, I've been summoned a couple of times in the past 2 or 3 years regarding the LPAC, the language proficiency for the students. And I understand through the investigations that are going on that a lot of administrators, in order to receive funding, are putting wrong data and alleging that certain children receive the services, but they're not receiving services. There's 2 lawsuits right now that I'm working with individuals. Would you agree, or would you champion to look at the LPAC program and make sure it's done properly and identify the correct children and make sure that they are receiving the services, because they're just on numbers on paper, but they're not receiving the services?
I would definitely champion that. It's not the only thing that I've heard where students are not receiving services. That is one of the cases with language access and also ARD process. So in my district, District 4, there's a high need for special needs education. And ultimately, our parents are, ending up confused. They're not getting the services they deserve. So those are definitely 2 big items, and I will definitely get with you. And if it's possible to be a champion for that, I will do that.
So in Pleasantville, there's a whole growth of charter schools, public charter schools. That's the competition for the past at least 10 years. So how's the Dallas team, Pleasantville schools or surrounding District 4 going to keep those kids in their schools, or maybe get some from the public charter schools?
Yes, there are charter schools. I'm familiar with all of the ones in the neighborhood. In particular, I actually attended one of them for a half a year in my middle school time. It's the A+ Academy, or it was called something differently. My parents moved me because they didn't have the TAC program. They didn't have extracurriculars that I was seeking. I've been in touch. I've supported all students. I can tell you, before this, it was every student in my neighborhood, regardless of where they attended school. But I have been in touch with those schools, and I know what they're saying and what they're doing to get our kids to move. So I think that that's an advantage that I have. I know what they're doing right at some of those schools that maybe is lacking in our schools. And some of that, to be honest, it's not that it's better academically, it's more so that our parents feel like, hey, they know my kids' name every day. They're like, hey, Benito, hey, Juanito, hey, so-and-so. So I think it's more so how do we boost our current schools, our Dallas ISD schools, and make sure that they are competitive in every single way. And one of those ways is going to be to flip that student achievement gap, which is persistent in my neighborhood.
Thank you very much. When is election day? When will we start early voting?
Yes, it's May 3rd is the election. Oh, here's one.
Well, that is the last one. We're running out of time. So go ahead, ask the question. Last question.
Good morning, Eric Marcelino. Just want to let you know, I sit on the board of the Educate Dallas, and we interviewed all the candidates who are running, and both 4 and 5. And we gave 100% endorsement to Prisma. It's not even close. When we spoke to the other candidates who are running, and it's not even close to comparison. When you have an educated, well-spoken, professional person like Prisma, who grew up in the neighborhood, is well-educated, this is an opportunity. If you believe in getting Hispanos, Latinos in positions like this, if you live in that district, it's very, very important that you get out and vote. When they say that the last incumbent lost by 30 votes, it's absolutely true. Very low turnout on these DISD elections. So we beg of you and we ask you to get out and let everybody know about Prisma and get her elected.
Muchísimas gracias. And you hear it perfectly said. Okay, Gloria, Honorable Carrillo. Go ahead, this is the last one, we need to keep moving with the agenda.
Okay, DISD received a letter from the Department of Education with.
Hold on just a second, Gloria, it's behind you.
Good morning, and thank you
Good morning.
for allowing me to ask this question. GPISD received a letter this week from the Department of Education with reference to DEI. And we have for many years had the top Hispanic salute where we honor students that have a 3.0 GPA. Last year we honored 400 students in Grand Prairie. We also have Eva Daniels, which is the NAACP. We are not going to be allowed to have those events at our school this year. We found out this week. And because they exclude other groups. And we also have Mexican American Studies in Grand Prairie. And I'd like to know what your position is, whether DISD has the Mexican American Studies, and how this edict from the Department of Education is going to affect our schools and our communities.
Yeah, I am familiar with the DEI ban in K-12. I actually come from a DEI background in the corporate space, which, as you know, a lot of it is going away. In the school setting, there's been conversations of even the Department of Education going away. And so I know that there are ways of incorporating some of the core values without calling it DEI. I'm just going to be transparent and saying that that's what I've been trained to do in every space that I'm in, because you say the word diversity, equity, and inclusion, people think that it's based on one political party. And so I can tell you at its core, the values that I hold will incorporate some of the diversity and the inclusion and the celebrations that we need to have for our students. But this is something that will definitely affect what we celebrate. But I want to be sure that we continuously honor the differences that our students bring and that they feel like it is an environment for themselves. I would love to connect with you offline to continue the conversation. I know I have to run, and I know the next speaker is waiting, but it's been an honor and privilege to be here with you this morning. Muchas gracias. Los espero en el website y mandando sus donaciones. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, un aplauso para Prisma García, corriendo para Dallas School Board District 4. Gracias, Prisma. I also been told that Alexander Robles is running for City Council in Rolette. Where is he? Can you stand up? Just wave, Mr. Robles. Thank you so much for being here. We will have him as a speaker pretty soon as well. Okay, our next speaker really needs no introduction. She has been a public servant for many, many years in many different positions at many different levels in the community, always, looking for our communities. Carmen Garcia was appointed by the Dallas City Council in 2022 to serve on the Dark Board of Directors, where she currently chairs the Audit Committee and is a member of the Board Administration Committee and Committee of the Whole. She previously served on the Trinity Railway Express Advisory Committee and Economic Opportunity and Diverse Committee. Carmen has previously held leadership roles with organizations as the Conference of Minority Transportation Officials, Greater Dallas Planning Council, Latinos in Transit, and the DFW Minority Supplier Development Council. She's also a member of the Advisory Board of the Small Business Enterprise for Dallas County, which I really appreciate. A graduate of Dallas Baptist University with a degree in Public Administration. Carmen is also a Leadership Dallas and Leadership Texas alumni, and I can go on and on and on her resume. So let's give a round of applause of Carmen Garcia, who is going to introduce who she's with this morning. Gracias, Carmen. I know that has been in the news and in the legislature. Go ahead, tell us where everything is going.
Good morning, everyone. Oh my goodness. I miss coming to these breakfasts. You all are just like amazing, and the food, of course, is amazing. Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. It's the Garcia show this morning, okay? But I'm so glad to be here this morning. I brought my team with me because some of you may or may not know, there's some areas of concern in regard to our agency, and I brought Ms. Jamie Molina, who is our first Latina Executive Vice President for DART, to speak to us. She is amazing, and I'm going to allow her to speak, but I want to recognize my colleague, which we did introduce earlier. She and I both serve on a national organization called the American Public Transportation Association, and she is the past chair, so I want to give her an applause for that. We have 3 of the DART board members serving on that particular board. So we're working in every capacity, from a national to a state to a local. This affects every one of us in this room. Our riders, we appreciate everybody that rides our transit system. I want you to listen closely today on the conversation. It's critically important to hear what's happening, share it with your, locally. This is a regional transportation agency, so we have 13 member cities that belong to our agency that we have to ensure that we maintain the excellent service that we have been doing for over 40 years. So again, I want to introduce to you Ms. Jamie Molina, who's going to speak a little bit more about this particular issue, but I just wanted to let you know how appreciative we are of each and every one of you. Whether you ride DART once or you ride it every day, this affects everyone in this room. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Carmen. Good morning. As Carmen alluded to, 2 bills, 2 companion bills are currently running in the House and the Senate right now. I want to talk about a few things and how we have been working with our service area cities to try to address some of the issues that they are bringing up in some of these bills. So for years, we've been working with them and we take their concerns seriously. We've been doing everything we can to work with them to solve these issues locally. We've heard time and time again from all of our legislators, they want these issues solved locally here at home. So I want to talk about a couple of the things that we've done so far. In meeting with all of our cities, we've heard a couple of different things. Each city is different, each city has different needs. But what we've heard are more service and different types of service. Financial assistance with economic development programs, a new governance structure for our board, and a general mobility fund. Because of the limited resources that we currently have, our board has prioritized funding to increase services over giving cash back to some of our cities. So we've evaluated a couple of things. How we're using unallocated resources to expand some of the microtransit services and circulator services that our cities are discussing. We're discussing parameters for DART's participation in a TIF district to help incentivize economic development around our stations and around anything that DART is related to. On governance, this primarily centers around our population-based allocation of the board seats, which results in Dallas having a simple majority of board members. So to ensure that Dallas cannot add service or remove service, the suburbs on their own, the board has self-imposed a 2/3 majority voting requirement to add or reduce service. So our board members, everyone at DART is taking this very seriously to address these issues here at home. In regard to the General Mobility Fund, we already have a mechanism in place to allow for the disbursement of funds. In fact, during the post-COVID recovery, our region rebounded so quickly and generated much more sales tax and revenue than anticipated. So as a result of that, the DART board voted to give our member cities $234 million to support local public transportation improvement projects that the city selected based on their unique needs and priorities. So this does not need to be legislated. It is a mechanism that is already available to DART and to our board. So I want to talk about some of the issues and impacts that the 2 bills would have. So the bill's immediate impact would be slashing our FY 2026 operating and capital budget by $461 million. For context, an amount of that magnitude is equivalent to the entire capital budget of bus, light rail, and agency-wide facilities and technology projects, and would impact 20% of bus service on top of that. Think about this in your personal life. What are you going to do if you lose anywhere from 25 to 50% of your budget through the year? What big of an impact is that going to have on your lives? So we're on the cusp of investing significant resources to modernize our mission-critical equipment and infrastructure. Our light rail is 30 years old, It's an aging system. In our bus fleets, we're looking to replace hundreds of bus shelters and benches, and investing in bus corridors to enhance speed and reliability. None of this can be done at DART if we lose funding for these legislative actions. So these reductions in service you see here are just the beginning. These cuts will compound year over year as costs increase and ridership and passenger revenues continue to decline. It's not just the 125,000 people who lose access, it's also the loss of convenience when service frequency goes from every 15 minutes to 30 minutes to 60-minute service. If we lose a large amount of funding, we will no longer be able to serve all of our cities. This impacts regional connectivity and prevents people from getting to their jobs, to businesses within the service area. Much of the anticipated Silver Line, which is included to open later this year, would be relegated to just a trip a day, much less than the 60 trips per day that we've originally planned. For a very important context and things that are coming up across the area, DART would no longer be able to participate in funding for the TRE, to DFW and Fort Worth, or for special events like the World Cup. We would no longer have the capacity or access to operators and equipment to participate in any transportation plans. DART contributes tremendously to our economy. For a regional perspective, the loss of funding would reduce DART's total impact on the local economy by 5,800 jobs. That's $1 billion in annual economic output across the region that we would lose. 2,000 jobs directly related to DART's capital program would be lost. So those are jobs with organizations and businesses that we work with, contractors. Those would be their losses of jobs. DART alone would lose 1,000 employees. We believe the loss of this funding would primarily impact the service hospitality industries, healthcare, education. People need DART to get to work, to get to school. They need paratransit trips to get to the hospital, to get to their dialysis appointments. People need DART in this community, and this bill would really impact the ability of those to have access to those types of trips and mobility across the region. So we're asking for your support to retain DART's funding and think about what this does to the community. We need to solve these issues here locally, which is what our board is doing, which is what staff continues to do. We will continue to have these conversations with our city partners to figure out how we can solve these issues here at home. I hope I've convinced you of DART's value and helped you understand some of the imminent need to continue the full funding for DART. I firmly believe that DART is critical to the success and prosperity of this region, and I urge you to support DART and help keep these local issues at home. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions for Ms. Molina?
Miss Molina, Miss Molina, can you tell us what is the population of the city of Dallas, you know, as compared to all 13 cities, number one. And number two, tell us the ridership, in other words, black, brown, white ridership that we currently have.
So right now, Dallas does have a larger portion of the population as opposed to the other 12 cities within our service area. DART 40 years ago was built as a hub and spoke. We needed to make sure that people from Dallas could get to our suburban cities, and our suburban cities could get to jobs here in Dallas. So there is most of the population is here within Dallas. That has changed some, but as we continue to see it, this is where people are coming from jobs. And you should also know that from our ridership, what we're seeing is a large population of people from Dallas are going to our suburbs for work. They are going to jobs in Plano. They are going to jobs in Rowlett, in Irving, all across our service area. So we need that regional connectivity to be able to make sure that they can get from here to there and across the entire region. Ridership, we're at 83% of our ridership with pre-COVID numbers, which is above average on the national trend. So we're continuously working to improve our ridership experience. Over the past 3 years, we've focused on safety, cleanliness, reliability, trying to make sure that our passengers have the basic things they need to feel comfortable taking trips on DART. And we can't do that if we have less money. We can do that with what we have now. Every dollar is accounted for, and if you take away from that, we won't be able to continue those basic things.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garza. Anyone else? Any questions? Yes.
So I watched a story about Plano, and they want to cut it. They're pushing from Plano suburbs. Has the population,
As the number of people, passengers, whether that come and go from Plano and local suburbs north of Plano, has that increased or decreased or stayed the same for the past since 2019?
So again, we're at 83% of our ridership levels, and something that everyone talks about is this 14th city, right? So people living outside of our service area city coming in and using the system. So there are people that work and live in McKinney and come down to Plano, park their car, and then use the system, right? That's an issue that we have to figure out and how to address that. We're working very closely with NCT COG on how we think about Transit 2.0. They're working on a study to figure out how we can incorporate a lot more of those other cities that don't have a transportation service within their city, and how we work to make sure that we're including that within the work that we're doing.
oh, I'm sorry, following up. The city of Houston has Metro and Park and Ride. Do you guys do any type of Park and Ride? Because that's a big, very, very popular part of Metro in Houston, the Park and Ride. Thousands of people use it every day.
We do too, right? So all of our stations have the ability to do that, and what we're looking at is, post-COVID, things changed. Habits changed, people changed how they come to work if they're working from home. What we really want to do with some of those areas that are being underutilized, because you see huge swaths of parking spots at those parking rides that are not being used. How do we work with our city partners to create economic development opportunities in those areas to better connect the city with the transportation station, and make sure that we're bringing more revenue and more economic development opportunities to our cities?
Okay, and we are going to hear from the chairwoman of the board of DART, Michelle Kong.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm pleased to be the immediate past chair of DART and American Public Transportation Association. So make no mistake, the people that are going to be impacted by this are brown and black riders. Those are the people who are going to be disproportionately impacted. And why? Because certain cities want to use their quarter penny to attract business, not for ridership purposes. And they are ignoring the fact for every dollar invested in public transit, there's a $5 economic return. That's fact from the American Public Transportation Association. That's data. But that does not cut any ice with them. They have 2 bills right now in the Senate and in the House. There's another bill coming, we believe, for the governance portion. We need your community's help. We need you to go down to those city councils and tell them, don't take my buses away, all right? And so without your help, without grassroots support, we're going to lose 44% of our budget for operations, because we have to pay our debt first, all right? And then what's left after that quarter penny is gone, all right, that's 44% left to maintain and operate our buses and our light rail system. So your buses very well may go away. Light rail trips from 20 minutes to an hour. Who's going to want to ride if it's only once an hour? So it's a death spiral that I'm concerned about. Less money means less service. Less service means less riders. Then they say, hey, there's not enough riders. So less service, less riders. Until where are we at? So please take this very, very seriously. we do right now. we're at a crossroads, and right now determines public transit for the next 50 years.
Call your city council members, right? Your
Yes.
city council, your state representative.
Yes.
How can the legislation is going to impact it?
Especially your House representative and your Texas Senate. If you want to come down and testify how it is going to affect people, the working poor, who they have got to get from Dallas to Plano to Irving to Fort Worth, because that TRE probably going to go away. So those people who depend on that Fort Worth connection, forget about it.
Question.
Question, Mr. Flores, and then Mr. Martinez.
Madam Chair, since you've been there previously, can you tell us how you improved the workforce numbers over there at DART? I know we get complaints all the time about the fact that Hispanics are not able to get a job as bus drivers, which is, I think, the majority of workers there are bus drivers or whatever. And so over the years, have you improved those numbers? There's got to be reciprocity there.
Oh,
in terms of
absolutely.
employment. Tell us how you work to increase that.
Absolutely, I will tell you, our workforce needs to represent the community that we serve.
Tell me the numbers.
All right, so those, I will switch to Jamie, but those are something that I know that Carmen and I have worked really hard to hold the staff's feet to the fire and say, how can we improve it? Are you being innovative in seeking those markets where we can have more Latino and Spanish speakers to help our riders in our community?
I can't give you a number because I don't know that number and I can find that out for you. But one of the issues that we see in operators is that they have to have a CDL. And there's a disconnect between Latinos and being able to get that CDL for many issues that I'm sure you can, right off the top of your head, you're going to know what those are. So that's something that we have to work with. Any Latino that wants to become an operator, they have to have a CDL. And we work with them as part of the process to get that. They just have to come and apply and be able to do that.
Well, I know that one of the times that the former chair came, we were supposed to get information regarding those days. And to this day, I don't know that we've received any of that information, but I think now's a good time for you all to come back to us. You want us to help you? Well, you need to help us too, to make sure that our community also has the same opportunity to be able to get a job there.
Okay, Mr. Martinez.
Yes, I'm not sure if I believe the argument about getting a CDL, because there are a lot of Hispanics that drive the big 18-wheelers, right? I don't think you have to be innovative either. I just think you have to hire them. You hire one who tells somebody else, hey, do you know I make $75,000 to $150,000 a year? I have retirement, I have insurance. I'm gonna tell you, there are a lot of Hispanics that have CDLs or can get CDLs, right? I don't want to think about the ones that can't, but you got to hire them, and that's been the issue. I'm proud that you're the first Latino at your level, but damn, we're in 2025. They're shipping us out in buses. How the hell are you the first one, right? How are you the only one there when we've had Hispanic chairs? I mean, there's like, what, 4 DART board members there? That's the issue, that if you want to really help us, you got to get us in the door so that when you turn around and get help, we're there to help you.
I agree. I've been there a year and a half, and I'm doing everything that I can for any opportunity that I have to make sure that I have representation of what our community looks like on my team. If you look at my team, that's what you're going to see. My entire communications and public relations and GR team looks like the community that we serve. On the CDL thing, the only thing that I will say is they make a lot more money being a truck driver than they do a bus operator. So that's part of the issue. Yes, ma'am.
Are you using CDL schools to recruit from? I mean, there's a lot of Latinos right here on 35 and Laurelland. There's a school there. There's one over here by the Texas Department of Transportation on 20. Recruit from there. I mean, they're there to get licenses. They're qualified already.
Agreed, and again, I think the big point on that is they're gonna make a lot more money as a truck driver than they are a bus operator. So unless if they wanna stay here and stay close to their families, will they look at an opportunity like DART?
Bueno. Hold on. Let us give you the mic here and then there, okay? Hold on just a second. Okay,
Bueno, como ustedes saben, yo tengo 55 años aquí en Estados Unidos. Mi esposo tiene 60 y tantos. Yo jamás había usado los servicios que da el gobierno. Tengo 2 años de estar usando DART y los felicito porque jamás había sabido yo que hubiera tanta amabilidad tanto de los choferes como las personas que nos atienden. Realmente, a mí me ha tocado, yo soy activista y me ha tocado muchas veces regañar a la gente, no ya ni regañarles, sino llamarle la atención, sino por el hecho de que vienen por nosotros, los vamos a maltratar, que porque llegó 5 minutos tarde, que pero señora, este servicio es gratis, debíamos de estar agradecidos de que se nos atienden, que vienen por nosotros y la paciencia que tienen, porque miran ustedes que ellos tienen la amabilidad de ayudarte a subir al camión, bajarte del camión y luego irte. Y un día estaba hablando por teléfono y oí que respiramos detrás de mí.
Mis Cervantes, ¿cuál es la pregunta?
La pregunta no es una felicitación al gobierno y al Estado por darnos este servicio a la gente de 60 años y más. Gracias.
Okay, we're going to translate. Ms. Cervantes said that she's very pleased with the service of DART, that they have very good customer service, that they help her get in and out, and obviously she thinks that we need to preserve the service as it is. Right, Ms. Cervantes? Y no dije más. Okay, bueno, the question?
I agree. My question is, you just mentioned one of the obstacles is obtaining the CDL or finding Latinos with a CDL license. And like Ms. Duarte said, there's a lot of Latinos getting their CDL in school. So what is being done to overcome that obstacle to help or facilitate Latinos or get their CDL so they could be able, like you said, make more money as a truck driver than as a bus driver?
Well, we'll have to get our Senior Vice President of HR to come and address those specific issues. I can honestly tell you that I can't give you the specifics on how they are using and going out and talking to these organizations. We can send you information, and next time maybe we have Rosa call.
I also want to piggyback on that response in terms of identifying candidates for this position. Yes, we do need that CDL, but we've taken it over and beyond just asking to hire you. We've offered incentives, packages to come and bring them on board. We've had stories on social media about the operators, Latinos, that are our bus drivers to encourage them to come and work for DART. Those are the kind of things that you can't put money to it, but if they know they're going to an agency that's going to be fair, reasonable, and provide a really good career opportunity, that is our main focus, is to ensure that we get the right people in the agency, to come, and we've done an extra effort to get out into this Hispanic community to bring those candidates and those individuals to fill those positions. Thank you.
I have one other comment. Dallas ISD hires, and they give a contract. If they hire you as an alternate certification, they pay for your certification, and you sign a contract saying you're going to stay with the school district 3 to 5 years. Do you offer a CDL education or opportunity for individuals to say, okay, you want to be a driver, but you don't have CDL, we're going to send you to CDL school, and you sign a contract with us for 3 to 5 years, and then you're a free agent. But that would be an incentive to individuals, especially young kids in high school, college, that enjoy driving. I love driving, but I'm too old now. But but I think that if you offer a CDL opportunity, like a scholarship, and say, okay, get your license, 35 years you're with us, and then you're on your own. That would be a great incentive.
We'll find out what we do have available and get back to all of you.
Okay, last comment.
Yes, one thing is if we can use you as resources of where we can hire Hispanics, especially Spanish speakers. John, we would love to use you as a resource, and great ideas. That's how we get it, and maybe we can be, our HR person can be invited at some time this year. Thank you.
Definitely, we will invite the HR from DART, and we'll have an opportunity to follow up this conversation. In the meantime, guys, remember, if you know and you use people or you know people or use DART, contact your representative, your city councils. Their funding is on the line on this legislature. So, thank you, and moving along. Okay.
I want to say something real quick.
Okay, Connie, we'll close this conversation. You can tell her right there.
Everyone that's here today, we have some material. We didn't bring enough for today, but I will assure you that each and every one of you received this material on the impacts summary that Jamie provided to you, and also a toolkit if in case you want to arrange a trip to Austin. We've got a toolkit that can help you with and guide you in that effort. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for Carmen Garcia, Michelle Cross, and Jamie Molina from DART. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Jamie.
Okay, I hear Nicolas Quintanilla is here. Nicolas, are you here? Come on to the front. Okay, Nicolas Quintanilla is running for Dallas City Council District 6. He was born in Dallas, Texas. He is the son of Carlos Quintanilla Jr. Alcalá and Margarita Santana. All his life, Nicolas Quintanilla has been passionate about helping others and doing something for his community. He has been the president of the Young Tejano Democrats, and through the Young Latino Democrats, Mr. Quintanilla encouraged the Latino youth to get involved with politics. He also uses the platform to find employment opportunities for young individuals in the community. As the president of Young Latino Democrats, he launched a scholarship fund to provide 10 students annually with scholarship grants. He has also donated over 500 toys to children for Christmas. Give a round of applause to Mr. Nicolas Quintanilla, candidate for Dallas City Council District 6. Nicolas.
Thank you, muchas gracias. I think we should give a huge round of applause to Commissioner Garcia, Hector Flores, Domingo for organizing this Chorizo Menudo. My name is Nicolas Quintanilla. I have been involved in the community since I was 4 years old. I am the youngest candidate on the ballot for Dallas City Council District 6. I am running because it's an open seat. I am running because we need new voice, we need new leadership. The city of Dallas has billions and billions of dollars in its city budget, but there's no jobs, there's no access to capital for businesses. Our roads are in horrible conditions. Our young people need opportunities. We need more scholarships. We need better jobs. We need to fund programs that are empowering our community. Like Ms. Garcia said, I come from a family of politics and community activism, so I have the experience to be a city council member. I've been involved in protests, I've been involved in marches, in community meetings, talking to residents. There's a mega march being organized for the 30th. I was at the first mega march where we had 500,000 people. I spoke at that mega march. So it goes to show how many years or the history that I have being involved. I was able to get triple the signatures that are required to file and be a candidate for city council. And at first I was not going to run, but after listening to voters and hearing their concerns and them asking me to run, I decided to run. While I'm young and it's a long journey, it's not impossible, nothing is impossible. Puedo ganar con su apoyo y si gano crearemos historia eligiendo al primer joven hispano miembro del concilio de la ciudad. Creo que nuestra comunidad merece más recursos. La ciudad de Dallas tiene billones y billones de dólares en su presupuesto. Necesitamos acceso a capital para nuestros negocios, más trabajos para nuestra comunidad, programas para becas para nuestros jóvenes. En el Distrito 6 el crimen está subiendo. Como concejal yo trabajaría con el Departamento de Policía para proteger a nuestra comunidad. Hace 2 semanas un inmigrante fue asaltado a punta de pistola en mi distrito. ¿Cómo eso está pasando? Necesitamos proteger a nuestra comunidad y por eso yo estoy corriendo para concejal. Hace 2 semanas robaron una troca en Balón Sports Bar en mi distrito. Necesitamos apoyar a nuestro departamento de policía para que ellos hagan su trabajo y proteger a nuestra comunidad. Los invito a que sean parte de la mega marcha el 30 de marzo. Vamos a seguir organizando, levantando nuestras voces para nuestra comunidad. El primer día de votación temprana es el 21 de abril y continúa hasta el 29 de abril. El último día para votar es el 3 de mayo. Soy número 7 en la contienda. I hope I can count on your vote. This is my first time running for office. And if elected to the City Council, I will be a strong voice for the community, and I'll work with Commissioner Garcia and other elected officials to represent our community and the City of Dallas. Thank you very much again for the opportunity to speak. And I'm running so that other young people can run, so that they can see that it's possible. So if there's any young person in the audience that wants to run for office, I'm running, and so can you. Gracias. I need volunteers. I need people to knock on doors, make phone calls. I have a list of voters that I'm contacting every day, knocking on doors. If you want to be part of my campaign, my personal cell phone number is 214-245-7348, or you can go to my Facebook page, Nicolas Quintanilla, or my web page, which is under development, but it will be up soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions? Questions for Mr. Quintanilla? Mr. Garza?
Nicolas, we just heard from DART. Number one, do you support DART and full funding that's there today? And number two, what will you do as a councilman when it comes to Dallas appointees to the DART board? What kind of person do you want to see there?
I would appoint you to the DART board. I think you're a great appointee. I support public transportation. I support DART. I think many in our community use DART. As council member, I will push to support DART. I will push to increase funding. And any attacks against DART, I will defend. I will fight against those attacks. I will defend DART.
How do you look at what remember there was a referendum recently at the city where they're forcing the police department to increase the numbers whether they can afford it or not. You know, it's a budget buster. What are your opinion on that? The other thing that we have in the police department in particular is their pension fund. That, it was on the cusp of going bankrupt because we can't afford to pay what the city owes in that pension fund. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, on the ballot there was propositions S, T, and U. And the proposition was to take away 50% of the city budget or the city revenue to go towards our Dallas police. I think 50% is excessive. I think some of that money needs to be reinvested, go towards other programs. Now, on the pension fund, I think that we need to work on that. I support funding for police, but I also support funding for the community. 50% of the city revenue going towards the Dallas police, I just cannot support.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Give a round of applause to Mr. Nicolas Quintanilla. We have several candidates in that race, several Latinos. Do your homework, get involved, vote for the person that you feel confident that will represent our interests in the Dallas City Council. Okay, our next speaker is a LULAC member for many, many years. She's been helping in the community for a long time. Connie Cowan has been, a member of our community in Garland and a lot of different issues. She has worked with me with needles and many programs that have been close to her heart, and she's running for mayor of Garland. So she has been in the battle before. She has been a member of LULAC for many years. So let's give a round of applause to Mr. Connie Ramos Cawi, who is here today to inform us what she's doing and why she's running for mayor.
Good morning, buenos días a todos. Es un placer estar aquí con ustedes este día. I'm glad I'm here. Thank you so much to Dr. Elba Garcia, Domingo, Hector, and our LULAC Council 102 for bringing this breakfast to our community so we can come and we can speak and we can talk about what really we need to do within our communities. Again, my name is Connie Ramos Caibi. I am from the Rio Grande Valley, born and raised in Donald, Texas. Un pueblito chiquitito en el valle. And like my classmates are all excited. It's like, who would have thought that somebody from our class of 1973 would actually rise to this occasion to run for a mayor of a large city. Garland is, we have a population of 263,000 people. We are growing. We are Hispanic. We are there. We are not going anywhere. We are right now one of the fastest growing cities here in North Texas. But we have no representation, not on the school board and not in our city council. I am the very first Latina to run for the position of mayor in Garland. And those of you that have lived in this area for a long time know that Garland has always been a good old boy city. Times are changing. It's time for us to change the community, to change what is important for our communities and to have a voice. We want to be at the table, not as the menu, but we want to be there as a voice for our community that is growing, our community that is important, and also that we need to have someone that's going to be the voice of the people that have no voice. It's been a long time in coming. For those of you that do not know, I am also a founding member of Unidos, and I am very proud to say that it has taken us almost 25 years to bridge that gap between the Latino community and our Garland Police Department. So Unidos has grown. Unidos is now a national organization, and we have that communication with our police department, with our police chief. So anything happens in Garland within our Latino community, I get that call from our police chief because, as he says, I want us to have the conversations before the media and you have a conversation so we can know what is happening and what is going on within our community. If you all heard the news lately, there was a shooting in District 2, which is the district that I live. There was a police officer that was ambushed. What is going on in our community? What is happening in our communities that we cannot have representation, that we cannot have a voice to help the community in itself to know what's going on? It was, just like about, not even a mile from my house to listen to all, it sounded like a movie, really. If you would have been there, it sounded like a movie. There was shooting back and forth, there were sirens everywhere. But again, we need to have somebody in position to be able to work within our Latino community. As mayor, I want to be open to our community. I want to be able to bring the people that need a voice, that want to know what's going on. I don't want to make decisions for them. I want to make decisions together of what is best for the city of Garland. So again, I am running for mayor of Garland. I need a lot of help, a lot of support from my community. I don't know how many people that are here actually live in Garland, but if you have relatives, if you have friends, let them know I'm running for mayor. There are 6 people that are running. This is an open seat. The mayor that we have right now has turned out. So there are 6 people running. There's 2 Latinos, 2 Caucasian, and 2 people from India that are running. So we are a growing community in Garland. We are like maybe almost 70% Hispanic. So we need to make sure that we have people, I have help calling the people that live in Garland to come out and vote. We all know that these races do not bring out the people. What can we do as a community to bring out the Latino vote so we can make sure that somebody that represents them is sitting at that table? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Connie. Any questions? Questions for Connie? Okay, well, I mean, Garland is one of those areas that really need change. We haven't been able to elect Latinos almost at any level on that government. Hector Flores, question.
I just want to recognize the work that you've done with Unidos. I don't know if you're familiar with Unidos, but let me thank Connie with the chief of police and Pedro Berno, creo que se llama.
Pedro Berno, yes.
Anyway, a few years back, we had a lot of problems with the police department over there. In fact, just in November, I was able to bring Omaha Police Department here to come and learn about Unidos. And they went back very impressed how they have developed this, not only here, but surrounding. Dallas itself has their Unidos program, but it's being duplicated all over the country. In fact, Omaha PD now is actually implementing the program Unidos. And so I just want to thank you for doing that and helping all the other communities, not just here in Garland and in Dallas.
Thank you very much. Yes, Unidos started because back in the late 90s, there was a lot of disparity between the Latino community and the Garland Police Department. That year, in 1997, 1998, we had over 6 Latinos that were killed in the hands of the Garland police. So at that time, there was an assistant chief guy that he came to me and he said, Connie, we need to bridge this gap. We need to bridge the gap that the Latino community feels that we are not there to harm, we are there to work together and to help the community. So yes, Unido started in Garland. I am one of the founding members, and it is now a national organization. So it started in little itty-bitty Garland, and now it is a national organization that is throughout the United States. And I am very, very proud to say that I had something to do. And at this point, I also want to thank our late friend, Richard Sobrano. Richard Sobrano was there with me, and he helped me to bridge this gap, to have the meeting with the police department, to have the meetings with the city, so that we were able to start this organization, and I'm very proud that it has grown to what it is today.
Thank you, Ms. Connie. I know that I got to work with Unidos in different municipalities, and Connie's name always comes, when we talk about, the origin of Unidos program. Gracias, Connie. One question, and before the question, Connie, you also need to address how can we help, volunteers, etc., etc.
Yes,
I was late in signing as well. I turned in my paperwork almost at the last minute. I do have a webpage, it's www.countonconnie.com. We are working. If you want to help me donation-wise, I'll give you my phone number, 972-965-4031, and you can Zelle me the money. We're working on our PayPal right now because I used to have the PayPal when I ran for city council. Now we're having some issues with trying to transfer it over to for mayor. So I am going to need help. I'm going to need people that come out and help me do walking, because I believe the only way we can reach the voters is by door knocking. All of these posters, all of these banners that we put out, those do not bring in the vote. Your voice, your meeting the community, that is what brings in the votes. So people need to know who you are and why you are running. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm a fact checker, and I worked at Garland ISD for a few years, so I know Garland ISD. But in the city of Garland, Census Bureau says it's about 46% as of a few years ago for Hispanic, the city of Garland. So I suspect something almost 50%. But the question is, what percentage of actual Garland city of Garland people are Hispanic? What percentage of Hispanic, what percentage of voters in the city of Garland are Hispanic, registered voters?
We are looking at those numbers. I've been working with Domingo. He is going to help me try to figure out the exact number, because we have a lot of Latinos in Garland, but a lot of them are not registered voters, and a lot of them is our immigrant community. And as we know, they do not vote. And I think that is one of the reasons that a lot of people say, oh, it doesn't matter that they have all these Latinos in Garland, they don't vote. We're going to prove otherwise, that we can knock on doors, we can bring out the vote, and that we matter, that Latinos matter in Garland. So at this moment, I can't tell you exactly how many, but it's not that many people that come out to vote. I know that from city council.
And we're going to work on registering voters. Okay, sounds good. A round of applause for Connie Ramos-Cowie, running for mayor of the city of Garland. Now, one of our speakers just could not make it today, so I'm going to give the floor to Mr. Alexander Robles, running for city council in Rolette, and he's going to tell us about Rolet and his district and why he's running for the city council in Rolet. Mr. Rolet.
I'm so excited to be here. I see almost these people here speak Spanish. In our community, it's more harder because most of the people are white. I want to run it because I love our city. I moved to Rolet 20 years ago. I don't have a kid by that moment. Now I have 4. I feel safe. I love the environments. I want to keep it the city safety environments. I want to work with our community, Hispanic people. You know, I want to leave a legacy to our people, Latin people, to my family. You know, to make it. You know, our Latin people never enroll in anything, never vote. You know, I want to motivate people to be enrolled in this election. I want to speak Spanish because almost the people here speak Spanish. Llegué al país hace 27 años y sobre esos 27 años he trabajado muy fuerte. Tengo un negocio de real estate investment, tengo casas de renta, tengo una compañía de aire acondicionado donde me he dedicado a trabajar muy fuerte, a formar mi familia en un ambiente de armonía, de respeto y de amor a Dios. Durante ese tiempo yo me he sentido esa vibra de poder ayudar a mi comunidad, de poder dejar el legado de que si yo estuve ahí, tú también puedes. Nuestra comunidad necesita tener esa decisión, decir yo puedo. Y estar ahí yo creo que va a ser una experiencia muy bonita. Espero ganar, espero la colaboración de cada una de estas personas que están aquí. You know, yo siento que con la ayuda de Dios todo es posible. You know? Y nosotros los hispanos tenemos que demostrar que no somos criminales. Nunca he estado en la cárcel. He trabajado fuerte, mi esposa es una trabajadora social que ama a las personas. Cuando tú eres trabajadora social, tú te das a los demás. Y eso es el ambiente que queremos transmitirle a los demás. Soy católico, pertenezco a la iglesia del Sagrado Corazón en la ciudad de Rolet. Soy acomodador, soy miembro de los Caballeros de Colón, soy el recruiter de los Caballeros de Colón y me siento privilegiado de estar aquí, ver tantas caras hispanas que quieren ayudar. Soy pro-life, amo la vida y aparte amo a los hispanos. Sé que son trabajadores fuertes, trabajadores que dan todo, que este país sin nosotros no sé qué sería. Muchísimas gracias, un placer.
Any questions for Mr. Robles? Preguntas para el señor Robles.
I do.
Okay, good.
Mr. Robles, years ago, in the late 90s, I lived in Rolet.
¿Cuál es el porcentaje ahorita de latinos que viven en Rolet? Hace el 98, 99 yo vivía en Rolet. En ese entonces no había muchos hispanos. Era bien duro para un hispano tener un negocio. Para los niños que todavía en la escuela. Mi pregunta es, ¿cuál es el porcentaje ahorita de hispanos en Rolet?
También una pregunta que le hicieron a ella.
Una pregunta.
De votantes hispanos en Rolet.
¿Qué en Rolet?
Yo creo que es hasta por el 40%, pero yo para poder ser elegido como concejal, yo solo necesito 2,000 votos. 2,000 personas que vayan a las elecciones, digan Alexander Robles para concejal y yo soy electo. 2,000 personas. Es la cantidad que vota. Es por años. Eso es. En la ciudad de Rolet nunca hemos tenido un candidato hispano porque nuestra voto cuenta. Necesitamos registrarnos para votar, para ser contados, para tener ese poder y cambiar ese aspecto. Nosotros somos trabajadores fuertes, honestos. Yo lo puedo demostrar en mi persona. Yo soy hombre de negocios y yo nunca he estado en un crimen.
Perfecto, okay.
Are you running? ¿Estás corriendo solo o are you running against an incumbent?
Solo. Soy para Play 6.
Open seat.
Okay, extravagante, exacto. Okay, thank you very much. Any other question? Give a round of applause to Mr. Alexander Robles. Okay, otro latino corriendo en posiciones que nunca hemos tenido latinos corriendo. Okay, last but not least, in a moment of privilege, I want to introduce, as you all know, this last year I lost my chief of staff, Mr. Brooks Love. Many of you met him, many of you were with him. It was a big loss personally as a friend and with someone that I worked for over 20 years. Well, I mean, it took me a while to find the right person to take Brooks' position. So I want to introduce you today to the new chief of staff of my office, Dallas County Commissioner District 4, Ms. Jasmine Robles. Ms. Jasmine Robles comes with a lot of experience within the Democratic Party, with technology, and more importantly, as you see, she's young, energetic, and wants to change things. As you can see in my newsletter today, we are working in several, we're really looking into getting really busy with everything that is going at a national level. We are having a expo, Mujer Expo, with all kinds of services for the community, particularly women, as we celebrate el Día Internacional de la Mujer, el Mes de la Mujer, as we celebrate International Women's Day. We want to be sure that we tell our community that services are here and that Parkland will continue to provide services to the community regardless of your immigration status. So I want for you to tell your friends and families that it's important that you stay healthy, that it's important that you know your community clinics, that Parkland does not work with ICE and it will not transfer information as it is with any other entity. So that is one. After what happened with Jocelyn Rojo, I know how important it is for all of us to spread the knowledge of knowing your rights. Okay, so you'll see this last Thursday we had with the Texas Democratic Party and the North Texas Democratic Party symposium of attorneys, immigration attorneys, on what we need to know in case that our community, the federal government changes some of the ICE legislation that they're trying to do. So keep involved. Please reassure everyone that Dallas County is a welcoming community and that most cities, are going to protect our immigrants' rights. And last but not least, mental health. It is important in this time of stress for our families to get services. If you know of anyone that needs them, the North Texas Behavioral Health Authority, that I am the chair, provides free services for families, and they're open, and we have Spanish-speaking services. So please be sure that if you know anyone, refer them to my office. We'll be more than happy to guide them through the right channels to be sure that they get the therapy that they need. Last but not least, I'm very proud to say and thank John Martinez that is here with the Regional Hispanic Contractors Association. We have a project and an administrator that were up for fabulous awards with the association. I was very surprised that I finished being the awardee with the Public Servant of the Year award. Thank you, John. I'm very humble. As well to the Korean community. It's been kind of month, even when everything that is going on, also recognized for my job and my work with the Korean community. So very proud, very thankful for your support. On behalf of our past president, Domingo Garcia, thank you for all of you that sent us messages and presents and congratulations for his birthday. I told him he's already old, we don't need to celebrate anything else, but what the heck, he wanted to keep celebrating. So thank you to all of you that joined us. And last but not least, You know, it is important now more than ever that we stay together. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but please, if you see something, say something, report anything that you see of any case of abuse or bullying. I see a lot of young kids here today. Report it, say something. We cannot afford, to cry for our youth. And I have seen a lot of distress in our community, in our immigrant community. So please don't refer them to my office. If there's anything we can do, we will be more than happy to help them. And now with that, I see Rafael Luna here as well, and between him and Jasmine, they're going to talk about the Mega March, which is very important. It's going to be on the 30th, the day before Cesar Chavez, which, by the way, I want to thank my colleagues for supporting that. For the first time in Dallas County, we're celebrating Cesar Chavez as the first county holiday for Dallas County. So with that, Ms. Jasmine, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us what you're doing with our office. What is your plan for the future?
Muchas gracias, comisionada. Thank you all so much for the warm welcome. I am the former vice chair of the Dallas County Democratic Party. I also am a co-founder of a civic engagement-focused organization called Somos Texas. I was a former board chair for that organization. And over the last few years, I've worked on many campaigns. I've also just volunteered for other nonprofits, very focused on issues, not necessarily partisan issues, but just community-focused issues. Immigration has been one of the things that actually brought me into the political landscape. I started as a young LULACer myself. Was very excited for the opportunity when I was, I think, 20 or 21 years old to be able to get on a bus that Mr. Domingo Garcia paid. So there was college students. I was at UNT in Denton at the time, and I had the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. and lobby for the first time on behalf of our immigrant community. That was in 2008, I believe. And with that, I was able to meet a few friends who are still organizers and activists that I still work with and have stayed in contact, and I've met a few of you at that point in my life as well. I'm excited to now be working with Commissioner Garcia. We have an amazing team. We actually have Veronica and Alan back there, so I just want to give them a big shout out. They're awesome, and along with them we have Noemi, we have Blanca. I don't know if they're here, but with that we have an amazing team. The commissioner mentioned some of the events happening this week. I ask if you're able to, please go ahead and scan a QR code for the Mental Health Symposium. You'll be able to RSVP. We're actually going to have Mr. Eric Cedillo there to speak on behalf of the behavioral and mental health needs our immigrant community has right now, given the climate. So, as far as the Mega Marcha, I'm really excited to share the URL where you all can go in and find more information and sign up and RSVP. If you RSVP, you will receive emails just reminding you, and if there's any changes, you will get that directly to your inbox as well. So you can go to, there's a few options, megamarcha.com. You can also go to Super Mega Marcha 2025, or you can go to megamarcha2025.com. Either of those are going to send you to the same website, and you'll get all the information there. So thank you all so much. I will pass it on so we learn a little bit more about the logistics.
Thank you. Buenos días, my name is Rafael Luna, and I am here kind of to give everybody an update regarding the Super Mega Marcha 2025. Yo soy Rafael Luna y me tocó el trabajo, el honor de ser coordinador de esta mega marcha. He asistido y ayudado anteriormente en las marchas en 2006 and en 2017, yes. Y nos han ido muy bien. Queremos que esta marcha sea igualmente de pasiva. And we'll make sure we have a peaceful march this time. I've been assigned and honored to serve as the organizer. We have submitted all the permits for the city of Dallas. We're waiting for the approval. But whether we get the approval or not, we are going to have a march on March the 30th. We have a First Amendment right, and that is to unite and speak our freedom of speech. We will do that day. The reason for the permit is for us to get staging, get sound, get entertainment, and get all the speakers out to the plaza of City Hall. We want to make sure that it is organized. We are organizing different groups. We're meeting every Monday at 6:30 at Kessler Park, United Methodist Church. Yes, and we have different groups. We have the media group, we have the fundraising group, we have the logistical group, we have all the different groups that will participate. We want to make sure that everybody knows to wear white, to bring religious religious things. We have t-shirts here that we're going to be wearing that day. We want to make sure that we do not bring any of the Mexican flags, Salvadorian flags, Peruvian flags. This is an American United Immigration Reform March. So we want to keep it all American. All right, we are here, we're in a country that allows us the opportunity to be free. We want to make sure that this march is for immigration reform. Even though there's a lot of things going on in the administration that we don't agree with, our march has to be focused on immigration. All right? So I just want to make sure that if you don't have a committee that you're joining, or if you have a group you would like to invite to the Kessler meetings, please do so. I'm here to kind of logistically make sure everything runs accordingly, make sure that we are in contact with the police squad, we're in contact with the police department, and we meet all the requirements for the city of Dallas. So anybody has any questions?
The $25 shirt, where the money goes to?
All the donations that are happening are being run by the LULAC chapter, and it's all going to help with all the expenses of all the march. So just make sure that you know that any contributions and anything that is done, it is there to help. We're going to have free water out there. We're going to have hydration stations. We're going to have all these things. So when people come from the cathedral, we're going to start at the cathedral, the shrine of Guadalupe, walking all the way down Ross to Griffin, Griffin to Commerce, and Commerce to Irving to City Hall. So we want to make sure that we are that we have sufficient funds to get all this off the ground. So anybody have questions? Yes, Hector.
I was going to say that.
I like your hat.
Anyway, to save you guilt, if you cannot participate, you can also make a donation. You know, these marches cost a lot of money. I hope you know that. You know, it's not free, okay? Nothing is free in life.
That's
right. But you know, you can make a donation. Claudia, who's taking the money or the checks? Are you?
LULAC 102.
LULAC 102 can take your donation. Maybe it's $10, maybe it's $20, whatever it is, because we have to buy, like for example, my job is security. So you know we're going to have to buy the little vest for the people. We got to train them all to be peacemakers. And then we're going to try to isolate, because there's going to be the anti-group that's going to show up at our march. We got to keep them at a separate place. They have every right to also demonstrate against us. So we have to honor that. So we're working very closely. Rafael is doing a magnificent job in setting up all the details, getting all our permits. We're working every week trying to make sure we have the safest march. I don't know if we'll get the 500,000 like we did in 2006. But I'll tell you what, we probably can get to 50 or 60,000. Thank you very much for great work.
Thank you. Yes. Question. I want to let you know a point of this. I got confirmation from the Domingo Garcia's office that George Lopez has agreed to be there and be with us at the march. So that's a great name. George Lopez will be at the march. Yes, Gracie.
Oh, Rafael. Before I ask the question, I do want to inform you guys that Modesto Rodrigo and I were working at Skyline High School in 2006. I was the librarian. And we actually were the precursors to the Mega Marcha because 2,000 of our Skyline students walked out several days before. And it was at that time I allowed them to use the library to print messages, to use the computers, because before they didn't have texting. So they emailed and they organized the walkouts all the way to Duncanville. So we were the precursors and we're very proud of it. Our students were tremendous, right?
And there were, the Skyline one was to downtown, then the one in Oak Cliff was to Keys Park.
Yes, and I immediately called Domingo and told him, please keep the city of Dallas to protect our kids. They just left and they're headed for city council. So, thank you.
At the city council and we wrap up and send
yes.
Yep.
Okay, my question, are you gonna have the DART, the rail and the buses available to take people to the Mega Marcha for free?
We are.
Or a parking area at the
We're
American
working on
Airlines?
that now. We're trying to get all the arrangements and all the agreements for all of that to happen, yes.
Okay, so we have students from Grand Prairie that want to go.
Okay,
But
yes.
they need to go to a DART
So-
station.
And if you can help with that, and anybody can help with the DART people that are here, I know I talked to Carmen during the week, and we kind of spoke on that, and she offered her support to go ahead and help us with anything that for logistical wise.
Not only with transportation, because DAR was instrumental in the 2006 march. Let me tell you why. Because not only they took people to the march, because in our route, we crossed several DART routes. They stopped some of the trains and buses so we could march. And remember, the march, by the time we were at City Hall, we had people just leaving Cathedral.
Yeah.
So it took hours of DART service being stopped so we could march. So yes, thank you, Carmen, thank you, Michelle, for being here. We will look at your leadership to be sure that DART is involved and that the Mega March will have all the logistics put in place. Gracias, Rafael. Any other questions, Hector?
I just wanted to let you know, I wanted to recognize John Martinez, who has agreed to provide us with the porta potties.
I'm not sure how we got stuck doing porta potties, but we will make sure there's porta potties and handicap porta potties.
Thank you so much. Believe it or not, those porta potties are one of the most expensive things in any public event. Okay. Okay, who else is coming?
Solo tengo una pregunta.
Oh, pregunta y luego
Un comentario.
Un comentario. Okay, sounds good.
Yes, my name is David Gutierrez. I am assisting Mr. Rafael Luna in the logistics team. I'm on that table over there. If anybody right now wants to be part of our logistic team, I'll be over there. I'll take down your names and any kind of information that I need. And please, if you write something down for me, please write it legibly in order for me to be able to understand your handwriting. Or else, do a good thing on your numbers. This way I can call you and be able to communicate with you. But we appreciate you.
Question.
Rápido, nada más para hacer énfasis en la invitación a la megamarcha que está organizando otra vez el abogado Domingo García, por cierto, la única persona que ha sido capaz de reunir a todos los líderes de todas las etnias y de todas las comunidades. Y una exhortación personal, realmente, discúlpenme, pero veo más gente aquí, ahorita, desayunando y platicando, que en las reuniones de la megamarcha, Necesitamos apoyar, necesitamos que la gente sepa de qué lado estamos. Los candidatos que están ahorita presentándose, pidiendo el apoyo, es una buena oportunidad de la megamarcha para que la gente los vea y sepa de qué lado están. Hay mucha gente que participamos en el 2006 y en las demás marchas. Hay que apoyar, ahorita hay que demostrar que tenemos fuerza. No hay mañana, ahorita es cuando lo necesitamos. No tengo pregunta, perdón, solamente era poner énfasis en eso, de que este problema nos envuelve a todos, a mi hermano, a mi vecino, compañero de iglesia, compañero de escuela. Tenemos que participar, hay que asistir a las reuniones, para organizarnos. Gracias.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I just wanted, one point. What we want to make sure that we do is we do not encourage our students to walk out of school this year. I know we made a big impact, we made a big bad year, but we want to make sure that our schools, our children, our kids stay at school. So if anything is going to be organized through the community of the young students that have been at the meetings, they want to make sure that if they do anything, they do it after school. So we want to make sure that we don't lose funding to any schools. So we want to make sure that we encourage our youngsters to make sure if anything is organized through their chain of communication, that is all done after school.
Thank you very much, Rafael Luna, one of our leaders in the community that have always been involved in all the mega marchas. Muchas gracias, Rafael. And now we go to announcements. So, Miss Hilda.
Thank you.
You